Xin chào các bạn, tôi tên là Hằng. Hi everyone, my name is Hang and I'm from Vietnam. And basically our project is about multicultural in London. And basically I'm going to be showing you around my house, Vietnamese house, that is very different from English houses. And soon later you will see other people of families' culture from Nigeria, Polish, Zimbabwe and English. But I'm going to start first by showing you what's so different about our house. I'm going to actually show you how to prepare a traditional dish, traditional Vietnamese dish. That is very different because the way we eat is so much more healthy. Like we prepare everything from scratch. So I'm going to actually start showing you how to do that now. But first you need to have flat rice noodles. This is very important because this is what we need to put. And then you have your chicken soup that we prepare from scratch. Actual chicken, marinate chicken in water to create the soup. Then what we have to do is similar to pasta where we boil the noodles in hot water just to make it softer, easier to eat. Make sure you do have to make sure the water is definitely boiled and it's definitely hot before you even put it in. Chopsticks. Chopsticks is so important because this is our daily use of. It's like the spoon. We for English people we always have to use chopsticks for everything, and so on. And here we are, the outcome of all the preparation. Our traditional dish called pho. This is basically very simple. You know, you have your chicken soup and then you have some vegetables, just to keep it all healthy. And then you have the chicken. Obviously, this is only one kind of the. This is only one of the kind of the dishes. Normally, you can have other meat like beef and a more vegetarian style, but chicken is more traditional. Was what most people would have. Yeah, and of course you can see our bowl is very different. Because this is more for soup base. Where if we were to have rice, we would have something like this, something more smaller. But yeah, this is more for like a soup-based kind of dish. And of course we have our chopsticks and the spoon. You can see is so different from English spoons. Because the reason why we use these kind of spoons for something for soup-based because we pick up more and we pick up more of the stuff that's inside the soup, and we eat all in one go and you taste more. And of course if the soup does taste a little plain sometimes, there are always things that you can always add to flavour it a little bit more and to add it a little bit more kick, I say. You know, some chicken soup and then you've got your chili sauce to add a bit of a small spice. And if you want it to be a little more salty, you can always add what we call luk mum, which is basically like salty fish squish sauce. And there we have it, our traditional Vietnamese. Well, my food was great. I'm really full now, so I think I should push it aside for a moment. And well, you know, my boyfriend is here. Would you like to sit? Come sit down. Come.
Xin chào các bạn, tên tôi là Cường. Well, that was a greeting in Vietnamese. It's basically saying hello to everyone and saying my name.
What's your name in English then? Introduce yourself in English.
My name is Quan, or some people call me Michael because they find it very difficult to say my name.
But yeah, we're going to talk about more of our family and our religion, because we actually have different religions which people don't know about. Is that in Vietnamese you don't have just the one religion. We have different religions. Whereas I'm more of a Christian Catholic and
I'm a Buddhist. In Vietnam, about 85% of the population is Buddhist, and about 15% is Roman Catholic. Just that before the Vietnamese-American War, it used to be just mainly Buddhism, but seen as the South Vietnamese people, they decided to follow America and become westernized. That's when they brought in the Roman Catholic religion, and because they're following the American culture, they decide to follow the religion as well. Also in Vietnam, sometimes if you're from two different religions, it's kind of hard to get married, because in Vietnam when you get married, traditionally the wife is meant to follow the husband. So for this example, because me and Hung, we're from different religions. If we were to get married, traditionally Hung would have to follow me as the husband because the wife would always follow the husband and his way of living.
But it wouldn't happen really. I wouldn't do it. Sorry, guys.
Because over here it's a bit different and it's not like Vietnam traditionally.
Jokwa. Hello, my name's NK, or Afambun Kichinyere, which is my full name. I'm Nigerian, from the Igbo tribe. I'm the Nigerian aspect of our project. So what I'm going to do is show you a couple of things that are part of the Igbo tradition, particularly in Nigeria. So we've got the mask, which is from the masquerade, which is known to go around the streets as a spirit. So this is, Nigeria is known for its arts and crafts. So this is one of the arts and crafts that we took back with us. In Nigeria, we're actually known for our headscarves, which is called mochafisi. Basically what we do is wear them at special occasions, or well, it's usually special occasions, funerals, birthdays, parties. It's just like a way of enhancing your clothes. So I'm actually going to put it on. This is already made because it's really intricately made with pins, and it's a really sturdy material, so it's really difficult to put together. So what I want to do is take off my headscarf that I put on earlier and put this one on. Put it on like this, and you'd wear your full attire and you'd go party. Nigeria is Abuja. It used to be Lagos, but I think Abuja grew so well, so they changed it to Abuja. I know part of the state that I'm from, which is Ebonyi State, the Igbo side, in the late 1960s, or sorry, I think it was the early 1960s, we had a civil war, which is called the Biafran War, which my dad tells me loads of stories about. Basically, the Igbos, which is the tribe I'm from, wanted their own country. So they actually said, to the government, we want to split Nigeria and take our own side called the Igbo land. And Nigeria was like, you can't take a whole chunk of our country and call it your own. You are part of us. So there was a big civil war where the rest of Nigeria was just fighting the tribe that I'm from. And it was over within a couple of years, but so much things happened. There was so much, pain that was brought into that situation, and luckily my dad escaped, and was here to give birth to me. So yeah. This is a Nigerian traditional game called the seed game. The aim of the game is to try and get all of your seeds, all of your opponent's seeds, as well as yours. So the person with the most seeds, by the end, wins by the time the board is clear. So it will start off with 4 in each, and it's a 2-player game. So this would be my side, that would be the opponent's side. And what we do is we just, pick up 1 on your side and you play. Your go ends when you finish the seeds in your hand. So then your opponent will play. So they can pick up any one of them on that side and start moving this way. And the aim of the game is to try and keep the train of your seed going as long as you can. When all of the seeds have emptied on your side and you have 3 left, for example, I could count how many seeds are on here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and know that I will finish your 4, which makes it mine. This makes it my goal. So now we'll start again. So we keep going round and round until, it gets up to 4. When it gets up to 4, you take it. This is mine. But if they decided to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there was 3 already in there, they could play 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 4. I miscounted. 5. and that's now their goal. So this is something that we would play here, we'd play it in Nigeria.
Waiting they share, we want no. Shana winch, I been landing, no matter their plan, no, we go still they fly. And Nigeria soccer, now system we they show. We know the fear challenge, Super Eagles.
Okay, when you think about British culture, there's so many stereotypes that surround kind of England as well as the UK as a whole. But like fish and chips and roast dinners. There's a lot of kind of like the typical historical side of England, like kind of traditions like drinking a cup of tea, and kind of the family, going to church, things like that. But obviously, when you think of the UK today, it's changing a lot, and English culture is kind of it's got a lot of kind of influences from the outside. When you think of London, for example, when you walk down any street, there are so many shops and restaurants from loads of other cultures, which are kind of blended together and are kind of adding to English culture, really. But also, when I think about British culture, I think of my childhood and where I grew up, which was Devon and in the countryside and also in Dorset. I think it's important to remember that when we're in London, like today, you kind of think of it as really multicultural and all of the kind of other cultures that are kind of, mixing with English culture. But when I think about when I grew up in the countryside, there was kind of, a more community feel to the place, where everyone knew everyone. I lived in a small village where everyone knew each other's business, and everything was a little bit more traditional. Also, kind of the school that I went to, everyone stayed in the same kind of area, whereas in London, it's a bit more unfriendly because no one really knows each other and everyone's in a rush and busy. But when I think of English culture, I think of the countryside and kind of smaller communities, where everyone's kind of, more helpful, and there's more of a community spirit about the place.
Real good shit you hit when you first wake up. She called me a good hugger. I called her a good lover. The penny loaves, the shoulder pads, can it show?
All of the food that is essentially British, fish and chips is a pretty famous one. So kind of a lot of people eat fish and chips right across the country. It's typically kind of associated with Fridays. But yeah, Martin, that's it. That's what I have to say about fish and chips. Okay, it's 5 o'clock. For English people, it's time for tea. There are a lot of stereotypes surrounding British politeness, always saying, asking how you are, for example, and queuing, things like that. One of the main things is apologising for everything. There's a lot of jokes in British culture where people talk about, someone banging into you and you're the one who apologises for them banging into you. But I think that's kind of goes along with the community spirit of Britain, and a lot of people do associate Britain with a community spirit, even though that is being lost in some places. I do think that is kind of quite core to British culture, obviously in a lot of ways. Just like it is in every country really, but for example, it is Remembrance Sunday today, which is a massive part of English life. Everyone wears the poppy on the time around Remembrance Sunday. And I think the armed forces are a massive part of British life. Everyone's well aware of the history of England and the history of the British forces, obviously kind of culminating in this, for example, and the way that we do remember them. And I think it's a really massive part of kind of schooling and just the way that, a lot of events in England do really bring people together, and I think that this is one of them.
Good afternoon, my name's Dean. I'm talking to a good friend of mine about British culture in Camden today. I've just come down to visit a friend. Well, what can I say about British Camden, how things have changed around here? Well, actually, if you can, I'm not sure if you can see, down the high street, but years and years ago this was actually bombed quite badly. The station on the right hand side, which is, sorry, to my left hand side, was Camden Town Tube Station. Right next door to that got actually bombed, and a bus, an old bus in 1944 I think it was, actually fell through, and you know, where the bomb blew up and the bus fell through. So things have changed throughout British culture. Now we've got a lot more tourists in the country coming over, especially into Camden to see. Years ago, it used to be when I was a kid, when I was about 10 years of age, I used to help my dad on the next right hand side. There's a market there called Inverness Street Market, which was all fruit and veg. Now, just to say how things, British culture's changed, it's all sort of swag now, t-shirts, hats, jumpers, things from this country like English flags, English t-shirts, just for the tourists. And years ago, as I said, that used to be a whole fruit market. So now in England, with the general public, you don't actually see so much general public now. It's all tourism, which is a massive thing in this country now. And now people come to this country not just for Camden. I mean, it's all over the country, all over West End. Down the West End, you've got, you know, famous clubs, Stringfellows, things like that have changed. Where there used to be a small little bar, it's now like big nightclubs. You've also got things like Buckingham Palace, you know, Madame Tussauds, you know, so Tower of London. And these have been there since like 1666, when, you know, when we had big wars and things, and things haven't changed. They're still actually kept the same. They're renovated the same. So, you know, even though British culture has changed, really it hasn't, because people have still got the you know, the royal family and things. So that's British culture.
Hi, my name is Natasha, and we're here in Snoggy's Butchers because we couldn't necessarily find a restaurant that was a butcher's that was close to my homeland, Zimbabwean one. We've come to a South African one, which is very close to where I live, and just showing the similarities in the kind of foods that they sell, the kind of meats, the kind of drinks. Many of the things that will be shown in the video are very similar to what is sold in my homeland in Zimbabwe. So we're just going to be looking at how they have kind of landed here in the London world, and how they've adapted and how people have received them, and just show the diversity of culture really. So yeah, I hope you'll enjoy it. Hi, we are joined here by Warren and Polo, and we just want to ask them, what was your transition like traveling from South Africa to here and like being in the butchers in London? What was that like for you?
Oh, a very, very different sort of way of living here, but you know, obviously we brought our culture with us. We're working in a shop like this, so it does make it a bit easier to be away from home. Yeah, we're comfortable. Probably about 50% of our clientele are South African, which does help hearing accent as well. So no, it's been great. So far, so good.
Yeah, working over here in the South African shop, really we haven't lost our accent, because all we do is it's South Africans working with South Africans, South African customers, and yeah, that's why we still sound South African. So.
Absolutely. What are the most favorite and popular products you would say are really sold in the shop?
I would say that the most popular is the beef biltong to the South Africans.
Can you explain what beef biltong for those who may not be familiar with what it is? How it's made?
Yeah, it's just a dried and cured beef steak. It's a big silver-side steak that we dry and cure with different seasonings and so on. It's just a lovely, healthy snack. Yeah.
And how long is it dried for?
It's probably about a 6-day process altogether, from raw to ready to eat. Yeah.
All dried in the sun, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
So now I'm going to be showing you some of the well-known products that are sold in my country. This one is braai sauce. Braai sauce is mainly used when you're having like a barbecue and you have like ribs or like porks or steaks, basically like grilling, and it's one of the most flavored sauces that they use in Zimbabwe. Then over here we have maize meal, iwisa maize meal, and this is like one of the traditional dishes that is sold in Zimbabwe and made. And basically the process is like more like a porridge, like a cornmeal porridge, quite thick, and you usually have with like a piece of meat with like vegetables. So that's kind of like traditional dish that we eat. And over here we have more of the alcohol, which is a lager. This is called Castle Lager, a very well-known African beer. And it's been known to be used for many years, like a lot of centuries down. Whenever you're having like a family barbecue or reunion, the whole family will come, and that will be one of the drinks that will be used and drank at the barbecue. So it's definitely one of the popular ones and favorites. These are some of the well-known drinks which are very popular in the Zimbabwean culture, and one of them, is Sparletta. Sparletta, which is a cream soda flavor. It's more of like a grapey, soury drink, and the strawberry, but they're very popular and one of the most top favorites as one of the juice drinks that are drank, as well as Fanta, which is obviously a known brand over here. But Fanta, we're more like dressed it in bottles that we have it in Zimbabwe, but over here they have cans. But they're one of the most popular juices that we have, especially on a hot summer's day. That is one of the best. So as we discussed before with the butchers, Warren and Polo, these are some of the traditional meats that are sold as biltong. So you have kudu, biltong, kudu brewvos, which is more like brewvos is like a sausage, traditional drawers, snap sticks, chili sticks, and beef biltong. And it's mainly to do with the flavors of how these meats are made. So as they said, they are dried in the sun, or left out to dry, air dry, as you can see in the butchers, and literally they're seasoned and flavored so that once they are standing out to dry, all the flavors are absorbed inside and to make them more tasty. And it's quite a tasty snack when you're feeling a bit hungry. So yes, biltong is the best.
My name is Marcin. We just come back from butchers and we got the very tasty food. This is like kind of meat, very tasty, but tasty like chewing gum.
Poland, a nation teeming with cultural life, a country of music, theater, film, and visual arts, all at the highest level, and all of them ever developing, reaching out to informed audiences of art lovers. Audiences who pour in to enjoy happenings and all the other cultural events offered to them by their country's artists. Poland is famous for many world-renowned festivals, such as the Chopin Festival, the Warsaw Autumn Festival, or the Wrocławia Countess Festival. Jazz sessions in an intimate club atmosphere are enormously popular. Jazz Jamboree, one of the world's most famous jazz festivals, takes place in Poland. Poland, a magnet to many young Europeans, drawn here each year by the multitude of large-scale events organized in every corner of the country. Coming here to party at the largest open-air rock and electronic concerts in Europe.
Hello, I'm Katie Carr, and I'm a British songwriter with Polish roots. And today I'm in the Post in Hammersmith, in London town, eating a very typical Polish meal. It's called kotlets schabowy, and this is a kotlet. It's like a schnitzel. It's pork, and you beat it, and then you put like breadcrumbs on it and fry it. And this is some very delicious salad. It's called surówka, and this is like cabbage salad, and this is parsnip salad with some currants in it. It's very, very delicious. The Polsk in Hammersmith is a very important place for the Polish community and has been since the end of the Second World War, when there were 200,000 Polish refugees from World War II here in Britain, and they needed a centre where they could meet and talk and preserve their culture. The Polsk here has 4 floors and houses a lot of important Polish organisations like the Dziennik Polski, which is the Polish and Soldiers' daily newspaper established in 1940. I would like to say that I'm very proud to have Polish blood, and that this is a fantastic opportunity to come to a place like this and be involved with Polish culture. Recently I've just released an album called Paszport, which has been inspired by the Polish partisans and the stories I gathered from the Polish pilots of World War II. And if I have to think of Poland, I think of very brave people who fought for their independence, but unfortunately at the end of the Second World War their independence was short-lived because Poland became under the communist state. So I'm very proud to be here with you today, and if you have a chance, please do go and investigate more about Poland. It's a beautiful country. There are mountains, rivers, lakes and wonderful food, and really seriously recommend it. Thank you.